ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in the state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Go figure, get the figures, let's make about 8.
Cash rule, cash rule, cash.
When worst come to worst, my peoples come first. I was hardly making George before I'd written a verse. Kept my mind straight, no hate. Work with my ambition. Invested in my ideas when nobody would listen. They told me I couldn't do it, so they think I could buy it. But they ain't even trying, ain't no need to deny it. Black continuity of hustle and grind. People been fighting centuries for lives I didn't see. Is the seed of success lies deeper than me. Black Boyce.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School, and I want to say what's happening to everybody. And I wanted to sort of follow up on something that's really had me intrigued this week. I assume you guys have been following the whole situation with Gayle King, Snoop Dogg, Oprah, Kobe Bryant, and this situation where everybody seems to have an opinion, everybody seems to be chiming in on what's going on with this, and I'm one of those people too, because I really find it interesting. I think anything that Black people are talking about is interesting to me. So do me a favor real quick. If you are Black first, if you believe in Black people being at the top of the food chain and believe that Black people are number one and most important in your life, type B1 in the chat. Everybody type B1 in the chat. Also hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Please make sure you do that. You're watching drboycetv.com. This is the home for intelligent Black people. So if you're not Black and intelligent, you may want to get the fuck out. So let's jump in and talk about this. Let me ask you guys a yes or no question. Give me a yes or no. How many of you saw Snoop Dogg's recent clarification of his remarks about Gayle King? How many of you saw, give me a yes or no if you saw Snoop Dogg kind of, explain what he meant, right? What no misunderstandings here, it was what it was. Did any of y'all see that? How many of you saw Snoop's video he did? He referred to it as his public service announcement, in which he was basically kind of clarifying his remarks on Gayle King. I wouldn't call it an apology, because I don't think he regrets what he said. I think that he might, I don't even know if he regrets how he said it. I think that he was saying it again in a way that allowed people to understand what he meant, because he was taking some heat for people feeling that the remarks were almost sounding like there was a threat of violence in there. Now, was there an actual threat? I don't know. I mean, everybody always thinks the Black man's a threat. They kind of just sort of think that all the time. But I could see where people would be coming from with that comment. I personally felt like there could have been better ways to say it, but at the same time, I think it's more important to spend time talking about what Gayle did wrong than it is to talk about how Snoop's reaction might not have been optimal. So let me go ahead and play this for you guys. I want you guys to hear it right from the doggy's mouth, so to speak, because Snoop Dogg, he calls with the dog pound, big Snoop Dogg, stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give Snoop that respect and go ahead and play his video so you guys can hear it from his mouth and hear what he has to say. And you can kind of give me a take on it in terms of what you guys think. So here he is, big Snoop Dogg. I'm gonna play this clip for you now.
Tops, hold up though, this big Snoop Dogg. Here's a message for the people that need to know. I'm a nonviolent person. When I said what I said, I spoke for the people who felt like Gayle was very disrespectful towards Kobe Bryant and his family. Now, with that being said, what I look like wants some harm to come to a 70-year-old woman. I was raised way better than that. I didn't want no harm to come to her and didn't threaten her. All I did was said, check it out. You out of pocket for what you're doing and we watching you. Have a little bit more respect for Vanessa, her babies, and Kobe Bryant's legacy. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to do what I got to keep doing. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. We're very nonviolent. We just want to say that first and foremost. We speak from the heart. Some of you who have no heart don't understand that. But anyway, carry on and enjoy your day.
All right. That was an interesting statement. I mean, it was okay. So let's. I'm gonna call a quick meeting of the Council of Intelligent Black People. I don't have my Vicky Diller gavel with me, so I'm gonna just use my fist. So hear ye. I call a meeting of the Council of Intelligent Black People, and I'd like for us to evaluate as a collective how we feel about Snoop's statement and what you think he meant. So the first question I'd like to ask you: give me a yes or no in the chat. Give me a yes or no. Do you feel that Snoop made that statement voluntarily, or did it feel like he was being pressured a little bit? Like, do you feel that Snoop kind of had a change of heart, or maybe he was sort of feeling something emotionally that led him to say, okay, maybe I went over the top, maybe I got to come back and do it again? Or do you think, do you think that somebody got in his ear and said, you got to make this right. Like, if you don't make this right, it's going to get real wrong real fast. What do you think? Yes or no? Do you think Snoop did this voluntarily? Or do you think it was actually scratch that? Yes, if you think he was pressured. No, if you think it was voluntary. Yes, pressured. No, voluntary. What do you think? I'm looking at your response. Teresa says, I think Susan Rice scared his ass. I don't know. I don't know if Susan Rice is exactly scared, but Susan Rice was the national security advisor for the president. And when you connected with deep state government, you got power that really can't be spoken about in public. Let me just say this: government. You can find numerous examples throughout history where government officials have basically just decided somebody was going to go to prison and made it happen. And if it is anybody that's easy to make that happen to, it would be a guy like Snoop, who is a black man who also, has some stuff in his background that you could probably grab onto, maybe throw out an accusation, whatever it is, right? So I'm gonna just tell you like this. I think Snoop, if he could have made his own choice on that, I think he would have preferred to not make that statement. I think that Snoop, to say we're very nonviolent, go ahead and have a nice day, keep doing what you're doing. That to me sounds like he's sort of looking for the words to say. He's not, really coming from the place of saying exactly what he wants to say. I think that there's something happening there. And let me tell you what I think. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm processing. Not to say the Snoop statement wasn't bad. Let me actually, first of all, scratch that. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way, while I do this. I want to, first of all, before I even analyze it more deeply, I want us to take 1 second, and can we at least give the brother a round of applause for being a stand-up guy and making that statement, right? Like, let's just digital round of applause for Snoop. Let me just, so let's start there. He gets a digital round of applause for both statements. He gets a digital round of applause for being man enough to stand up for the community and to stand up for brothers, which a lot of celebrities don't do. Y'all can't depend on people like Terry Crews. Terry Crews might go scream for the Me Too movement. He might run around and scream if somebody grabs him by his vagina again, like that agent did in Hollywood. That's what Terry Crews might give you. Snoop actually reps for the people, and you gotta respect that. You gotta love that. Two, I give him another round of applause for the fact that he was man enough to come back and clean it up. Because here's the deal. Here's the problem, right? This is the thing I thought about, right? Because remember, Snoop was smart enough to make it out of the East Coast, West Coast situation. He was right in the middle of it. I mean, Snoop easily could have been involved in everything that took down Biggie, that took down Pac, but he was smart enough to rise above and beyond that. Maybe he was lucky too. I don't know. Ice Cube was smart enough to rise above and beyond that. That's why these guys get to grow old as multimillionaires. And some of these other guys didn't even make it out of that era. Diddy was smart enough to rise up and out of that, right? So Snoop is strategic. He's an intelligent guy, and I would say that, given that he was a guy that was able to kind of survive all of that, I think that what he definitely learns and understands is that even though rappers are expected to keep it real, right? Like, keeping it real is important as a rapper. Like, if people don't think you're authentic, then you won't get any support as an artist unless you're Drake. Maybe Drake is the only fake, or Rick Ross. I don't understand this shit anymore. Just to be real with you, but for the most part, people kind of expect authenticity. He's built on authenticity, but I think even he understands that there's a line where keeping it real can go wrong. You know what I'm talking about? Like in a Dave Chappelle kind of way, where keeping it too real can go wrong. Where you're not Calvin Brodus, the guy that nobody knew about who was in the streets doing whatever he wanted. You're big Snoop Dogg. You are an international icon. You are a walking corporation. His name is probably worth $1 billion by itself. I'm sure he makes 30, 40, 50, 60, $70 million a year from his name, especially given that the cannabis industry's taken off and he's got all these endorsement deals. I mean, who else would you go to other than Snoop Dogg if you're promoting your new cannabis brand? So I'm sure he's raking in the money off of that and the performances and everything else, right? So he's been beautifully intelligent in maintaining his brand all of this time. And what I really saw there was a business decision. I saw Snoop basically realizing that he's not a dude in the street. He wants to connect to that. Maybe he wants to be that, but that ain't what he is. He ain't that guy anymore. And that's actually good for him, right? And so also with him being that guy who is seen as a leader and he's a voice for the people and things like that, your words have power. And here's another thing. So you're a walking corporation. You're worth, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And you get on Instagram and get caught up in the moment and you say something that it could be interpreted. I don't want to debate with you guys on whether or not you think he really meant harm to Gayle or not. It don't matter what he meant. What matters is how it could be interpreted to sound like, if we gonna come get you, don't mean I'm gonna send you an email. If I say we gonna come get you, that don't mean I'm gonna tweet about you, because I already tweeted about you 50 times, right? We gonna come get you sounds like somebody gonna come get you, right? I mean, come on, let's keep it 100 here, right? So you use that kind of language. So think about this, right? So you're Snoop Dogg, not Calvin Brodus, the guy on the street. You're the walking corporation, which means that you are a walking, you're dealing with tremendous legal liabilities. Being rich like Snoop Dogg means that just by default, you're gonna get sued 10, 15 times a year. Will Smith said he keeps 15 lawyers on retainer all the time because he gets sued so much. So to me, I'm thinking if you can get sued for doing nothing, I imagine if somebody had just had one person, all it takes is one, right? Out of 10 million people watching the video, all it takes is one crazy person who takes those words a little too seriously, shows up at Gayle's house and takes her out, right? Well, then at that point, you could be involved in that lawsuit. Somebody's always gonna get sued. When somebody dies, somebody's gonna get sued. When Kobe died, lots of people got sued. I'm sure the lawsuits are being boiled up as we speak. Right? A multimillionaire can't have a helicopter crash without a whole lot of people being sued. So with Snoop, I think I'm imagining that he probably got a call from maybe a manager, maybe an attorney or two, who meant well for him. I imagine he might have got a call. He could have got some of those deep state secret COINTELPRO calls that says, hey, if you don't make this right, Susan Rice got us on the phone and we're from the CIA. We can do whatever we want, right? We can take down governments. We can certainly take down one rapper out of Los Angeles. Maybe he gets a call from maybe CBS. Remember, all these big wig white boys know each other, right? So you're the head of CBS. You're seeing this stuff going on. You know the CEO of the cable service provider, or maybe you know the CEO of Instagram, and you get on with the CEO of Instagram, and who, one white guy talking to another white guy, basically saying this Negro's out of pocket. He's threatening our good Negroes. The bad Negroes are threatening our good Negroes, and because they got these big platforms, well, we need to do to him what we did to Farrakhan, right? Remember with Farrakhan, they shut a piece of his voice down by saying you can't be on social media anymore. We know that it was wrong, but we know that's what they do. So I'm really wondering if CBS got involved. I'm wondering if the lawyers were involved. I'm wondering if the managers were warning him. I wonder if he got some calls from that corporate side of his life that isn't connected to his to what he's trying to do for the people. And because I felt like that statement, it wasn't an apology. It wasn't him walking back any of his remarks. It was a clarification. That's what I saw it as, a clarification. And I thought it was good. I thought he did a great job with both the initial statement and the clarification. Do me a favor as I move forward. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the share button. Please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to drboycetv.com. This is the home for intelligent Black people. Also, if you want to check out some of our t-shirts, we have really good t-shirts like this. You can go to wokeblacktees.com. That's wokeblacktees.com. Or if you want to know more about what we do in general, go to boycewatkins.com. That's boycewatkins.com. That's where you can find my books and everything else that I have going on. So feel free to go check that out. All right. So a couple more things I want to throw out there is this. Gayle King can learn from Snoop Dogg. Gayle King can learn from Snoop. Because remember, Gayle King was the first one to issue a clarification video in this whole drama. She was the first one to come out and do a video on Instagram where she was basically trying to clear up the mess that came from that fiasco of an interview that she did with Lisa Leslie. And and now in her clarification, she wasn't trying to, remind people that she meant no harm. She wasn't really trying to present herself as a friend to the black man. She wasn't trying to do the right thing. She certainly didn't apologize. Gayle was trying to, first of all, pass the buck to CBS, which was really surprising that she did that. I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out for her. Because it's one thing if black folks get mad at you. Now you got your massa mad at you too. I don't know how that's going to work out. But then two, you kind of threw out this video like you need to go watch the whole interview in order to see really everything that I said. So it almost comes off promotional, like I'm promoting the interview. I'm leveraging this controversy to get more people, to get more ratings for CBS. I'm not going to watch your fucking interview because I don't like you. I don't know, disrespect, Gayle, but I don't know. Give me a yes or no. Yes or no. I'd like to ask you guys, are you going to watch the entirety of the Gayle King interview with Lisa Leslie just so you can, see what Gayle really meant and help her clarify her statements? Like, how many of you, give me a yes or no, are you planning to watch the entire Gayle King interview that she does with Lisa Leslie over Kobe Bryant, or do you have better things to do? How many of you? I don't plan on watching shit. I don't watch CBS anyway. CBS is not a great network. They're kind of for old people and racist white people. It's mainstream TV, which is always telling lies on black folks. I don't know if any of you saw that the brother who was the lieutenant governor, Justin Field. Let me look this brother's name up. This brother who was a former lieutenant governor of Virginia had sued Gayle, he sued CBS because Gayle King, again, with no evidence, went and interviewed his accusers from something that they trumped up from 20 years ago in order to keep him from becoming governor of Virginia. His name was Justin Fairfax. I want y'all to type that name in the chat. Justin Fairfax. So the same way Beyonce talks about, is speaking on women and saying, say her name. We need to say the names of these brothers who are under constant threat from these predatory individuals that want to destroy their reputation just from an innuendo, who want to destroy their career just because somebody says so, who want to take their lives and take their freedom just because somebody might have told a lie or whatever, or because of an alleged misunderstanding or because of some shit that supposedly happened 20 years ago for which there is no proof. My heart goes out when there's a real victimization that occurs, but the problem is that you don't know who the victim is and who the predator is. So a lot of these guys are under predatory pressure. So let me see here. I want to shout out to Jade Arundel from Fly Nubian Queen. Jade sent me the article all about this brother that sued Gayle King. Jay's been keeping me up on top of everything, and I appreciate her tremendously for that. Also, shout out to attorney Nicole Compton, who actually gave me some legal insights into some of the legal ramifications. I don't think, I'm not a lawyer, but here's what I think. I'm not a lawyer, but here's what I think. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think you can actually, especially as a multimillionaire, I don't know if it's a good legal strategy for you to go on the internet and to say anything that sounds like you might be physically threatening another person, because it means that even if you don't do anything and somebody else does something, they might find a reason to sue you. Doesn't mean I don't support what Snoop said, but I think he could still, like he did in the second video, make that point really clearly without necessarily going into this other stuff that he had to do at the end. I thought that was entertaining, but it wasn't beneficial to the discussion, right? So, and I think even Snoop feels that way, which is why he came back with the second video. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna read some of this to you. Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax isn't done fighting back against sexual assault allegations against him. He's now suing CBS for defamation. According to Deadline, Fairfax filed a $400 million defamation lawsuit against the network because of an interview Gayle King conducted on CBS This Morning, conducted with Vanessa Tyson and Meredith Watson. The lawsuit says CBS, quote, recklessly disregarded whether what Watson and Tyson were saying was in fact true, and that Fairfax filed this lawsuit so that he can fight these allegations in a court of law with the protections of due process and on a level playing field. So it sounds like what he was basically saying is, this is some BS, man. You can't just take stuff to the court of public opinion. It's like Tavis Smiley made that good point. Tavis Smiley said, you know, when you don't really have a good case, you settle that in the court of public opinion. But when you have a strong case, you settle that in the court of law. And I couldn't agree more with Tavis, because Tavis is another guy that's also been victimized by this Me Too chaos. Again, I think that this is going to cause us to sort of redefine everything when it comes to sexuality and all this other stuff. But you have to understand, I need y'all to really process for a moment. I mean, I know y'all see it, but I need y'all to really take a moment. You got to meditate damn near to really see what I'm saying to you here. You're living in a world where your son can sleep with a woman and she can go tell a story and ruin his life. She can go tell a story that gets him kicked out of school. She could tell him a story that will cause him to lose his job. She can tell him a story that can cause him to lose his freedom. She could tell a story that causes him to lose all his money. She could tell a story that causes him to lose his freedom for the next 20 or 30 years. She could tell a story that could cause him to go to prison and be raped hundreds of times. And when people get assaulted in prison, there ain't no rape counselors around to help you feel better. There's no Becky tears that you can throw out on the table to get the whole world to feel sorry for you. There's no investigation that takes place. There's no restraining orders protecting you from the person who's going to rape you again tomorrow. There's none of that. And there are Black men going through this all the time, every day, because somebody told a lie, somebody told a story, and I'm not standing for that. If you ain't got proof, I'm sorry. We just have to say we're sorry. We'll get you some therapy. If you because you could be, maybe you're telling you, but you have no proof. We'll get you therapy. We'll get you help. Maybe we can do something for you. But if you want us to take this man's life and send him away to be raped hundreds of times in the gulags for the next 40 years, I'm sorry. But the answer is going to have to be fuck you. Like, you can't do that just because you want to make people believe you, just because we're supposed to believe anything that comes out of your mouth. That's the price of a mistake is too damn high. The price is too damn high for us to just believe you just because you said so. I'm sorry. Seriously. Maybe that means all of us, male and female, have to take some time and understand that when you go into a room with another person and you agree to go into that space with that person, male or female, you don't know what they might do to you. So the best advice I might give any young person is choose carefully and take your damn time, and don't put your life on the line for a big button to smile, or because that guy has a little bit of swag and wears some alligator shoes. That's just my 2 cents. But hey, maybe I'm being mean right now. I don't know. But I want to say, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, And also I want to say thank you to Margaret Hudson. Margaret says, thank you for your support. She says, I believe that Gayle and Oprah called out their Boulay Society, Susan Rice. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know what they got going. I mean, they have access to types of power that a lot of us will never understand. That's just what it is. Like, they have what billionaires can pull off, like, is the type of stuff that most regular people can't even imagine. So it is what it is. It. Thank you for your support. I said, thanks for being a voice in the wilderness. Well, fortunately, I'm not the only voice out here. I've seen some guys and women as well that have really just made me so proud in terms of how they stood up. I saw, shout out to Ricky Smiley. I think I saw a lot of rappers that stood up. I hope that the rappers also will stand up for all the brothers out here that they never dribbled a basketball, and the women as well. Like, we got to protect our women. Like, that's extremely important. I think that there was like the entertainers that spoke. I mean, it was great. It was really a great coming together situation. I mean, this was a watershed moment for Black history. This is a watershed moment, not just for Black people, not just for the year 2020, but for Black history, because this is one of the first times where we all got together as a community and said enough is enough. We did, like you just saw in about a 4 or 5 day period, what probably captured the strength of at least 50% of the entire civil rights movement. I'm not saying the civil rights movement didn't have its own power in its own way, but what you saw in the last 4 or 5 days was a modernized version of a civil rights movement where we all got together and said, no, and I just love it. I love it. When we getting that Becky power, man, we got to be proud of ourselves right now. So in fact, I want you to take a moment take a moment and let's just give Black people a digital round of applause. Can we give a round of applause for Black people, please? Everybody in the chat, just say something to, I don't know, emoji clap or whatever the hell you want to do. Like, let's just clap for Black people. Because I love the fact that we have them shaking in their boots. I just love it. I think it's, and believe me, the next time they come out with some BS like this, I do believe they're going to think twice. I cannot imagine them coming back and doing the same thing the same way and not expecting there to be consequences. And everybody played a part in this. You guys played a part in this. Snoop Dogg, God bless him, he played a part in this. A lot of other people did, and I just think it's great. The last point I want to throw in here, do me a favor, one more thing I'll mention to you guys is if you want a free e-copy of my book, you can have it for free. Go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. Some of you may have read the book already, some of you haven't, but it's called It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. It's a very short book. It's built on what I call the new paradigm for Black America. It's based on an event I did with Louis Farrakhan about 3-4 years ago, or maybe 5 years ago. I can't remember when it was, but the minister and I spent 2.5 hours in Chicago in a church discussing wealth, education, family, and community, and what it means to build a better, brighter, stronger Black community and a more vibrant community, which starts with building stronger families and building stronger people. So the book is for free. I'm giving it to you guys for free. It has a cost, but it's free of charge for you. You want to go get the e-copy, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. All right, so last piece I want to throw in here. I got to give Alicia props for mentioning this to me, and it made me think a little bit. We were in the car and we were talking about this whole thing with Gayle and Snoop and all that. And one thing that she mentioned that I agreed with is we talked about the types of people that Oprah and Gayle tend to keep around them. Oprah and Gayle, they probably have a few Black people that work with them, but they surround themselves with a lot of little blonde hair, blue-eyed Beckys. Like they like, remember, and if you recall, does anybody remember when Oprah came out and admitted when she was a young girl she wanted to be white? Does anybody remember that, when Oprah said? And I talk about Oprah and Gayle as one and the same, because they're deeply connected, maybe in ways that we haven't talked about in public. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of conversation about that, and I ain't judging. I don't give a shit. But they're kind of one and the same. And does anybody remember when Oprah said that she wanted to be white? And so if you look at Oprah's staff, right? Like you look at these staff members. I mean, you have one Black person there. There's one Black person in the back. But this is the staff she took to Hawaii on one of her trips. I mean, and look at all those damn white people. I mean, look at all those. It's almost surreal. It's very weird, actually. It's very weird that you have that many. There's one black woman, another one, and another one. I don't see any Black men anywhere. But there's some white men here. So no Black men represented, only white men, and the rest are white females. So what I speculate here, and this is our little theory on this. I speculate that part of the reason that Oprah and Gayle think that they can get away with some of the stuff that they're doing to the Black men is not just driven by their deep issue with Black men, but also driven by the fact that they've got people in their ear who hate Black men. Like, let's just be clear, that whole Me Too movement is a lynching movement. It is a legalized lynching. It is basically saying, let's make America great again. It sounds like some old MAGA shit. And they're basically saying, let's go back in time to the days where we could accuse somebody of something and everyone believed us because we were white women. The Me Too movement started by Tarana Burke for Black girls, to protect Black girls, and Black girls should be protected. But what happens is the white females, they basically hijacked it and made it into a free-for-all where they could go around and just tell stories and people were going to believe them just because. And then Oprah and Gayle became tools for that Me Too movement when they're taking down, they're taking down all these Black men, going after Michael Jackson after he's dead, and Russell Simmons next. And then, Bill Cosby's tweeting from jail. What does Bill Cosby have to do with what you and Gayle over? Like she did, y'all caught that little dig on Bill Cosby, right? So it's kind of this weird thing where you've got these Black women who are being controlled and heavily influenced by white females, many of whom are feminists, who have big issues with black males. And many of you might have grown up as black men. Some of you were as little black boys when you were boys. I don't know if you remember, but I remember being in school and I remember just having natural conflict with white female teachers. A lot of your sons have white female teachers at school, and the white female teachers are threatened by your sons. They want to put your son in detention. They want to put your son on medication. They want to put your son in special ed, even though he's really smart, right? You know what I'm talking about. This is all connected. This is all connected to the fact that they view the black man as a threat. They view him as a menace. They view him almost like an animal that needs to be contained and trained and controlled. That's why they make these conversations about toxic masculinity, because they're saying to the black woman, your men ain't shit. Your men, look at your men. Your men running around here all masculine and mansplaining and doing all these things that men do. And they're promiscuous and they're this and they're that. And, and what they're trying to basically do is they want the black man to be feminized, because that achieves at least a couple of goals. One, it helps them to continuously win the gender war that they all actually have against the white male, right? That feminism movement is basically a big gender war. Everybody's competing to see who gets to carry the penis. But then also it allows them to eliminate the threat. You're eliminating the threat. Everybody feels safer when the black man is either feminized, turned into a beta male, marginalized, incarcerated, or dead. Those are the areas that the spaces they have for black men, right? Either they want you like Billy Porter wearing a dress on Sesame Street, or they want you to be a beta male who will get right behind an alpha male, a white man, and settle in and not cause any trouble. Yazza Boss. That's why movies like The Butler come out. Or marginalized, like the Brothers in the Streets. You go to a city like Chicago, you see that the black male unemployment rate for black men between the ages of 20 and 24 is about 45%. Nobody cares about that, right? So they're marginalized, like kind of just out of the way, or incarcerated. Which is why the prisons are filled up with black men. This is not a coincidence. This was all according to plan. Becky is largely responsible for a lot of this. This is why, statistically speaking, black males have the highest incarceration rate in America. White females have the lowest incarceration rate in America. Give me a yes or no if you think that's a coincidence. Yes, do you think that's a coincidence? Or no, do you think it's not a coincidence? No, tell me no if you think it's by design. No, it's not a coincidence. No, if you think it's not a coincidence. Yes, if you think that it is. I want you to give me a verbal confirmation so I know that you're listening, so I know that you're following what I'm saying. And then the last piece is the favored place for the black male, for in the eyes of many of these people, is for the black man to be dead, for him to just either die while he's like just go away, or to be aborted, to never have been born in the first place. That's why if you go look at Planned Parenthood and you look at where they put their abortion clinics, they tend to put their abortion clinics mostly in black neighborhoods. They put their abortion clinics where black women can easily access these abortions. And in their warped little minds, they really think they're doing black women a favor by saying, look, you're poor, you're black. If you give birth to the little motherfucker, it ain't gonna do nothing but cause you a bunch of stress, and you won't be able to finish school. He's gonna be filled with all this toxic masculinity, so why not just abort him? Just make sure he's not born, right? So the thing about the black man, here's the deal. This is where the Oprahs and Gayles come from. They're power brokers in this whole entire process designed to destroy the black male. They want to kill you. Like they want to kill you. If they can't kill you physically, they want to kill you economically, or intellectually. They want to kill you spiritually. And they kill you in so many ways that you can't even imagine. They not just from things like the food that they sell to you, to the way they educate you at school, to the media that you consume, and being killed financially in so many ways I can't even go into right now. But they want you dead, right? And wanting you dead kind of means that the best way for me to kill you is actually to remember that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if I can just make sure that your ass never exists in the first place, that you're never born, that your mama just aborts you. Like I go talk to her and tell her that part of her feminist right to her body is to just make sure that baby never lives in the first place, then problem solved. That's why you go back and you look at the lineage of a lot of the feminist movement and Planned Parenthood and all that. That's why you link it right back to Margaret Sanger, who spoke openly about the need to use things like abortion to basically control the population, to make sure these little black motherfuckers don't live. So that's pretty much what you're dealing with. That's the world you're looking at. And a lot of us contribute to that because we don't know any better. So anyway, that's it. That's my 2 cents. I hope I didn't sound conspiratorial when I said all that. But seriously, I mean, if you don't think that there's a plan, then you're out of your mind. Dr. Claude Anderson, who comes on here a lot, I'm trying to see if I can get him back on this week. I think he's feeling better. Dr. Claude Anderson does a wonderful job of explaining how historically your oppression was designed, carefully designed. The same way they decide how to control a pack of wild bulls or a bunch of pigs in the sty, they, how they design the cage a certain way and they put the food in a certain position and they come in a certain strategic way and deal with them in a specific way. They dealt with you the exact same way, because in the minds of many people, you're just a bunch of animals. So the black male is dealing with that. And that's why, even though I will be the first to confess that I felt that Snoop could have said things a little bit better. I think Snoop agrees with me, which is why he came out with the second video. I'm very proud and very happy to see black men standing up for ourselves and waking up to realize that you are at war, man. Like, you are at war. Like, stop falling asleep when it's time to be awake. You don't fall asleep in the middle of the battlefield, right? And a lot of our brothers are still sleeping. We got to wake them up, man. Seriously. So that's it. I'm done talking. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe. Please share the platform. If you want to support the platform, go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. I am also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. Download it. Share it. I don't care about copyrights and shit. Just take the damn thing, share it with whoever you want, give it to your family, pass it around. It does not matter. I just want you guys to get the knowledge. So feel free to go check it out. drboycewatkins.net. It's called It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I love you. Thank you for listening. Please hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Retweet, all that good stuff. I'll see you soon. Peace.